tonight we are beginning our new dating series. There's like everyone and then MJ just sitting right here. I feel like this is for you, bro. This- I don't know what that was, but yeah, it's a new dating series called Cuffing Season. Cuffing season, if you don't know, is when a single person suddenly wants a romantic relationship. Often during the cold months of the year or holiday seasons. This I have learned, right? And but let's be frank, for most of us, cuffing season is all seasons, right? Cuffing season is all seasons, and so the reason that we're doing this dating series, um, just so you know, on behalf of the leadership here at Prime Time, the reason that we're doing the dating series is because we as a leadership team, we love you guys. We love you. And for some of you, like dating is a really, really big deal to you. And for most of you, dating is probably too big of a deal. Right? Like I mean, like let's be honest. Like you think about dating a ton. Right? It's a big part of your life or desires, you know? And so we want to talk about things that matter. And for you, dating matters. For me, dating mattered. I mean, I literally can name off every single girl that I liked. I mean, definitely that I dated because it was only like two. But like every single girl that I liked, starting in preschool with my cousin, right? Well, I think her name was Courtney. I just forgot my cousin's name. I think it was Courtney. But man, I loved her. Wanted Kristen, that's her name. And I wanted. Is this being recorded? Sorry, cuz. But like I don't know if she knows this about me. I wanted to marry her. I was very, very vocal about that. Remember, I was pre-K, okay? And I remember being in the Dodge minivan, telling my parents like I'm gonna marry Kristen, right? And my parents were like, that's illegal actually, right? And I did it. I didn't know. I didn't care, you know. I was savage. But and then I literally could name off every girl. Like first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade. I mean, don't test me. Don't. I can do it. And I was also pretty loyal. So for some of those grades, it was like the same girl for 4 years. I never gave up, you know. And anyways, like so I know what it's like to be thirsty. I know what it's like to feel the burn for romance, to have a significant other. By the way, tonight's message is actually called, it started with the DM. I don't know if we have that up there. Is that a thing? Do we have that graphic? But like that's actually the title of tonight's talk. We don't have that. So if I didn't tell you that, you wouldn't have known that. But that's the title. So, and the reason being is because that's one of the ways today that a relationship can begin or be attempted to begin is by sliding into someone's DM. Why are you laughing? That phrase makes me feel weird too. But you all tell me it's normal, all right? My wife the other day, my wife the other day said, she told me that a guy from the Middle East, and when I say a guy from the Middle East, I mean like a guy who is like in the Middle East right now, DM'd her saying, hey. And when I heard that, I was like, nah. I'm like gonna go to the Middle East, find that bro, and show him how my bench press has been increasing the last 4 weeks. And crush that brother, right? Yeah, John Kennedy spotted me the other day, man. He knows I'm getting bigger. All right, anyways. So this whole like DM thing, by the way, is kind of like, so I did my research on it, and apparently, so like to slide into someone's DM is to direct message someone confidently and smoothly. And I find that very subjective. Very, very subjective, right? Like the guy from the Middle East. Failure, okay? Nice try, bro. All right? But like, I I looked it up, and apparently like there's a lot of different things that go into like if you're doing it successfully or not, and how to go about it. I actually found a flow chart. I found a flow chart on whether or not you should, if you should DM someone. It was funny. It was like, I don't know if you know what a flow chart is, but it's like if you answer certain things and kind of flows into like you go this way if it's yes and this way it's no. And it was like, are you ugly? And it's like yes or no. And it's like, are you a celebrity? Yes or no? It's like if no, then stop. If yes, keep going. It was to help a guy of whether or not he should DM a girl. And anyway, so apparently there's a bunch of stuff with like the DMing thing, but all that to say, all that is just a symptom of a common thirst, right? It's a common burn. Cuffing season is all season long for most of us. That is common. Also, what's common is the desire we have for romance, to have a significant other, to be known, to be loved, right? To have bae. That's a common desire. Now, maybe you're tonight and you're like, that's not me. I'm not into the dating thing. I don't really like anyone. No one really likes me, whatever. Like, if you're not there yet, two things. One, you're not missing out on much. Honestly. Like, if you're not there yet, you're not in the dating game, you're really not missing out on much. Like, you're sparing yourself a lot of emotional turmoil and heartache, right? Those of us who've been there, done it, you're saving yourself money. Yeah, right. Seriously, like, take your time, okay? Secondly, if you're not there yet, you might be there in like 5 minutes, all right? Because you're like, I don't want to date anyone. And then all of a sudden you're captivated by the light and the glory and beauty of bae, right? As they just walk across and you're like, I'm in, right? Like, I'm interested, right? Rumba bump bump. Like, they walk by and you are locked in. Tonight, what I want to talk about in the beginning phase of dating actually begins before you date. The beginning phase of dating actually begins with looking, right? That's how dating begins. It doesn't begin by dating. It begins before you date. And I want to talk about two mistakes that are made, common mistakes that are made in looking for someone. And then I want to talk about the common ingredient for success in looking for someone, okay? So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. First of all, the first common mistake number one, that's made in looking for someone is that we could buy into a myth called the right person myth. Common mistake number one in looking for someone is that we buy into a myth called the right person myth. Here's what the right person myth is. The right person myth is believing that there is a right person out there for you and for me. And if we find that right person, then everything in our life will be all right. And by all right, I don't mean all right. I don't mean I mean all right. Everything in life is good once I find this person. And yes, you like that little citation there? Like, I did some research, okay? But that's the right person myth, all right? So the myth is that when you believe that once I find this person, you're thinking, whether you'd admit it or not, your emotions tell you that if you find this person, your emptiness will be fulfilled, your loneliness will go away, your frustrations will be alleviated once you find this person. That just isn't true, all right? There's so much more to a relationship than finding the right person. Now, nothing is wrong with looking for the right person, because it'd be really weird if you went out looking for the wrong person. That'd be odd, right? You should look for the right person. But there's so much more to a relationship than just merely finding the right person. The right person myth, all right, when you believe that if you find that person, everything in your life will be all right, you know that you fall into this, ladies, when you're waiting for a guy to sweep you off your feet like Ryan Reynolds or Chris Evans, Captain America himself, right? By the way, my wife is a huge fan of him and probably his abs, right? I mean, his arms are good too, but anyways. Guys, you know you buy into this right person myth, right? When, I don't know, you want to, every guy has their own favorite there, okay? But whether it's like from the past, Ariana Grande, or at the same time you want her to look like, was it Kylie Jenner? Yeah, right. You guys are blushing, the guys are, so I guess that must have been the right person. You guys are all looking like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, yeah, I have no idea. No, don't check my Google, but yes. All right, you think that if you find that person who sweeps you away, your life will be okay. Everything's going to be good. You know where you get this from? You get it from movies. You get it from fiction, made up stuff like Disney and Hallmark. Disney, I love. Hallmark can go to, I hate them. My wife loves Hallmark. I mean, loves Hallmark. And you know what she loves about Hallmark? She loves that she knows that every single movie is going to end perfectly. Every movie ends perfectly. I hate that crap. I want one where everyone dies. And she wants every movie. She's like, it was my favorite part. It always ends good. You know, life doesn't work like that, right? Except for Disney or Hallmark movies. And you watch the movie, and the whole plot of the movie is like, you know what I'm talking about? In the very beginning, you're like, oh, let me guess, they're going to fall in love. You know, like those movies? Like, didn't see it coming. You know what? Someone's probably going to intervene. You know, they're going to get in the way. And then he's going to like her, but then she's going to be looking somewhere else, and you're like, oh no. And then at the end, they're going to be like, whoa, right? And you're like, yes, I love this. You know, that's Hallmark, right? Disney, every kid starts off with no parents, and then they turn out to be fine, and they find a significant other. And okay, anyways, I'm not going to go off on Disney. I love Disney. All right. But it's fiction. Because at the end of every movie, how's it end? End of every movie, that's not that they say it anymore, but like the whole feeling is happily ever after. Every time. I've never seen a sequel where it's like, part 2, the divorce. You know? It's like... You know what I'm saying? Like, Aladdin and Jasmine, right? Like, it's like, okay, no, I'm going to make jokes that are inappropriate. So, you know, that's not how it is. It's always happily ever after. The end. They found the right person, everything's good. But that is the right person myth, because there's so much more to a relationship. The right person myth is finding the right person. You believe that there's the right person, the one person out there for you. And once you find them, everything in your life will be all right. That is a myth. You know that's a myth. You know why? Because you have parents. Real talk here. Some of you come, and some of us come from homes where our parents' relationships are awesome. Like, there's something that we want to emulate. They're great. And if that's you, you are so blessed. I mean that. That is a gift from God. I am not playing around. That is such a gift. That's an amazing gift. Plenty of you don't have that. You don't have parents where you want to emulate the relationship. You know, maybe it's because they're not together, and it's been like, you know, you always have to deal with like the dirty laundry between them, right? Or maybe it's because they are together, but they're more like roommates than a married couple committed to loving one another, you know? And so, but if that's your parents, if it's not that relationship, that if you weren't blessed like many of us, where the relationships of your parents is something you really want to emulate, you got to remember, at one point, they did believe, even if the relationship didn't work out, they believed that they were marrying the right person, right? Because no one marries the wrong person on purpose. That's weird, right? At one point, they believed it was the right person. And then maybe over time in the relationship, they started to think, I married the wrong person, right? And then what happens sometimes? Then they stop, right? Sever the relationship, and then they go look for the right person. And it's cyclical, right? There is nothing wrong with looking for the right person, but there's so much more to a relationship than just finding the right person. There's so much more. You know another example of the right person myth? You know why it's a myth? Because you have Twitter, right? One day you're scrolling, you're like sitting on the couch or whatever, supposed to be doing something else, you're blowing away your time, you're looking at Twitter, and like so many tweets, you know, someone like just diarrhea of the mouth, their emotional infatuation for their significant other, and they're like, I love you to the moon and back. I don't know what I'd do without you. And then like the next day, they're like, bleep you bleep your family and your cat. And you're like, what just happened? You're like scrolling back, did they delete yesterday's tweet? Like it was just, apparently they changed their mind on who the right person was in their life, right? Third reason, the right person myth is a myth that once you find the right person, everything in your life will be all right, because you have personal experiences, right? Some of you have dated. Some of you have dated a lot, right? And some of you think that you've dated and you never dated anyone, right? But in your mind, at one point, you believed that you were dating the right person. Like maybe in your mind, at one point, you thought to yourself, this is the right person for me. Like this person might be the one. Listen up. You think that this person might be the one, might be the right person. And then, though, you were dumped, or your heart was broken, you were discouraged, maybe even depression. But at one point, you really did think that was the person, right? Nothing wrong with looking for the right person. It'd be so weird to look for the wrong person. But there's so much more to a relationship than just finding the right person. There's so much more. All right, so common mistake number one, buying into the right person myth, that there is a right person for you in this world. And if you find him or her, everything in your life is going to be all right. Common mistake number two, abandoning our list when it comes to looking for someone. All of us have a mental list. All of us have some kind of idea of what we're looking for in a significant other. If you're a person who doesn't have a list, you don't care, you'll take anything, that's a different conversation, all right? But most of us, you're like, I don't even care, I'll take whatever, man, right? That's a different topic. Most of you, though, have a mental list. Most of you have an idea of what you're looking for in a significant other. And granted, some of those lists might be, hey, guys in the back, can phones go away? Can we put phones away? Unless you're just taking copious notes. If so, that's amazing, okay? What were we talking about? What was common mistake number two? Oh, abandoning your list. Yeah, so your list. So your list might be totally jacked up, right? On your list, like girls are usually more thoughtful, right? Girls are usually more like, I want a guy, like, so if you prioritize your faith, you love Jesus, you probably want a guy who prioritizes his faith, like who really loves God. That's awesome. That's amazing. And then you want someone who like respects you, and someone who is a gentleman. And so I walked in, I kid you not, I walked in the church a couple weeks ago, and one of our interns and former interns were literally writing on the whiteboard characteristics and virtues of guys that they're looking for. And I completely agreed with the list. No, the list was it was perfect. It was a great list. Respect, be a gentleman, hard, work ethic, good work ethic, right? All these, and then that's a girl, and then the guy is just like hot, like, because they're stupid, right? I'm going to give, for the sake of conversation, benefit of the doubt to you all and to myself, all right, when I was at your stage of life, that your list is actually pretty good. Like if you were sober-minded, in a time where you were actually like thinking clearly and you really meant it from your heart, right? I bet your list would actually be pretty good. Really. I'm sure you'd have some weird things. I'd be like, that's weird, that you want that in a guy or a girl, but that's odd. Little specific, bro, blonde hair, blue eyes, right? And like, I don't know, like a thin lower lip. I don't know, like that's creepy, man, but you gotta start somewhere, all right? Most of your list would be pretty good. I bet you they would. I'm going to assume and give you the benefit of the doubt. The problem is not that you have a list. The problem is not that you have an idea of what you're looking for in someone. The problem is that we abandon the list. So let me give an example. So you're, ladies, I'll go with you. You're in small group. By the way, if you are wondering, like, what's the next step in my faith? New year, new me. I want to grow. Small group. Get in a small group, right? Be in a community. And so you're in a small group, all right? And the girls, like you're there, and one of the girls is like, you say, for example, like, what I really want in a guy is someone who loves God. Like, that's really the number one thing. And if he has big arms, like, that's a plus, right? That's a plus. And they're like, girls are like, yeah, totally, right? And then like a couple weeks go by and you come back to small group. And you're talking to your leader and you're talking to your friends, right? And you start telling them about how you've been texting this guy and you think you like him. And then they're like, so like, do you know much about his faith? Because you said that was a big deal to you or whatever. Do you know much of his faith? And you're like, no, but like he's always been there for me, and I think he believes in God, right? And you just sacrificed not just some of your list. You just sacrificed the number one thing on your list. You abandoned it. And you know why you abandoned it? Because you experienced two things: physical attraction and chemistry. The moment, a lot of times, that we experience a little bit of physical attraction and a little bit of temporary chemistry, we are gone from our list. We have priorities, we have values, and then bada boom, right? We're like, there we go. We're gone. We see a girl in the hallway, guys, and we're like, we're interested, right? Girls, you need someone, you're feeling lonely, you're like, I'll take them. You had a list, but you ran from it because physical attraction and just a little bit of chemistry, and you were gone. You flew the nest, all right? Now, you might be thinking, but isn't physical attraction, isn't chemistry like good things in a relationship? Absolutely. They're really important things in a relationship, but they're really misleading. Here's why. Do you know that you are physically compatible with millions of people on this planet? Let me put that in terms that can maybe connect with you in your mind. You would honestly be willing to make out with millions of people. If you doubt me, you just haven't seen enough people. No, like really, you need to go to a movie theater or something. You need to go see people, right? Here's why. Like, I have never met a person, adult leaders can critique me on this. I have never met a person who said, yeah, one time I saw an attractive person. I remember that moment. I was walking and like there he was. He was attractive. Right? And like that was it. That was the only time. This world is filled with beautiful people. Beautiful people. Walking around everywhere, right? And so if you abandon your list of what God's laid on your heart, of the things that are really important to you, of what you're looking for when you're looking for someone, if you abandon that list because you're physically attracted to someone, just think about that. That means you're going to abandon your list for millions of people because you're physically attracted to millions of people. And temporary chemistry, please. Temporary chemistry, you could have that. You could have that with just about anyone. You want to find someone that's unique? Find that person who actually embodies and exemplifies those things that are on the list that God's laid on your heart that's so important to you. Find the person that actually exemplifies those things that are on your list of the kind of person that you're looking for. Don't abandon it the moment you find a little bit of physical attraction, a little bit of chemistry. So that's common mistake number 2. Common mistake number 1, you buy into the right person myth. Common mistake number 2 is that we abandon our list. So how do we look well? What's the successful ingredient to looking well? My wife and I, a couple years ago, we've talked to a lot of people about dating. A lot of students about dating. We've seen students crash and burn. We've seen students have healthy relationships. And we asked ourselves, what's like the one thing that sets students apart from what we've seen just from experience? That's all. The one thing we've seen from a student who, like, no one does it perfectly, but they've had honorable and meaningful relationships and they've minimized regret, right? No one's perfect. But we're the students, my wife and I, we're like, let's figure this out. We've talked to so many different students. Look at the students who have had healthy, meaningful relationships. They dated. There weren't people like, I don't date, I court, or whatever. Like, I don't date. I don't do that, right? I'm just one. I'm going to find my girl and marry. It's over, right? Like, they're like real people, okay? And so nothing, if you're courting, like, no worries, man, whatever. But we're like, what's the common ingredient? The common ingredient was this. The students that we saw, the people that we saw that had honorable and healthy relationships and minimized regret were students who focused on looking to become someone rather than focused on looking to be with someone. Common ingredient. Each student who had honorable and healthy relationships and minimized regret are students who focused on looking to become someone, not merely focusing on looking to be with someone. All right? So when we look at the Bible, and we look at advice for dating, we're kind of hard pressed. Why? Because Jesus didn't come to get a bae. He didn't. Jesus didn't come to go get a trophy wife. Jesus didn't come. I can't say Jesus and slide into someone's DMs at the same time, I don't think, but he didn't come for that. All right? When we look for advice on dating in the Bible, we're kind of hard pressed. When you look at advice on dating, advice on becoming someone in the Bible is loaded with advice. Loaded with advice when you look to the Bible for becoming someone, what it looks like to become someone. So a chapter I want to look at tonight as we wrap this thing up. 1 Corinthians chapter 13 is known as the love chapter. All right? I figure that's a good place to start as we launch the dating series, okay? The love chapter. 1 Corinthians chapter 13. And what this is a list. We talked about the list that we all have of what we want in a person, a significant other, right? This is a list of what it looks like when we embody what real love is, okay? 1 Corinthians chapter 13. It's a love chapter. It says first, I think, verse 4, love is patient. Love is patient. So someone who's patient in a relationship is someone who's willing to wait. Yeah, most relationships are driven by hormonal overdrive, right? I'll take whatever you give me, baby. Love is patient. It's willing to wait. And it doesn't view, the person who's patient doesn't view decision-making as a race against time, but takes their time in making good decisions. Beginning a relationship, ending a relationship, of the lines within a relationship. Love is patient. Secondly, love is kind. Love is kind. You know what it is to be kind? Kind is to wish happiness and goodness to someone else. So love is making someone more important than you. So the relationship isn't just about your desires, but it's actually about the best interests of somebody else, not just what you can get out of it. Love is patient. Love is kind. Next slide. It does not boast. It does not boast. So in order to know what love is, we also have to know what love is not, right? And this starts the categories of what love isn't, right? Like, for example, you guys may not know what exactly you want in someone, but you may know what exactly you don't want in somebody, right? You've seen examples of what you don't want in your significant other. Love does not boast. Listen, it's great to boast about your bae. Some of you love to boast about your bae. I see it on social media. You love your bae, right? Either that or you're so worried about losing them that you have to just keep posting, okay? But it's one thing to boast about your bae to build someone else up. It's another thing to boast to build yourself up, right? And it ties into the next one. Love, it is not proud, I believe. Next slide, please. It is not proud. Love is not proud. What that means is someone who is not proud in a relationship isn't with someone just so that they could look good. You're not with someone just because everyone thinks that you should be with that person. And you're willing to make decisions, even break up with the person, and not be concerned with the dip of your popularity or social status, right? Love is not, it's not proud. Next. Love, it does not dishonor others. Now, some of us don't even know what honor means. We're going to talk about that throughout the series, what honor means, especially in a couple weeks, okay? Honor is to treat someone as above and beyond as a person. You may not know what dishonor is. Guys, if you're dating a girl and you want to know if you're dishonoring her, ask her daddy. Girls, you want to know if the guy's dishonoring you? Ask your daddy. Yeah, that'd be so awkward, right? Do we have any more? Next. It is not self-seeking. You want to stand out like a light in a dark place? Be in a relationship and not be self-seeking. Guys, when I'm at the gym, one of the things I do to try to keep up a little bit with culture is I listen to those songs, America Top 50, 100, whatever, man. Most of them suck, all right? But here's what I hear most of the time. I hear songs that completely demean women. I hear songs that are all about sexual satisfaction and that women are just toys in the process. They really are. I hear things that if said to a person, that person should be decked. It is all about self-seeking. It's all about pleasure. It's all about finding pride and boasting in the pleasures that someone could collect, that someone could gather for themselves. It's all about them. Love is not self-seeking. Love is selfless. Love is where you are no longer the priority. But love is when someone else is more important than you. You're no longer in it just for you, to the detriment of someone else. Love, next one, is not easily angered. Hey, ladies, you got a boyfriend who's always mad? You got a dude who's like just throwing fits of rage? Or he belittles you? I'm getting angry right now. I'm getting angry. If I ever have a daughter, which would be an answer to my wife's prayers, and I hear a dude call her the B word, pray for that boy's soul, because I will find it and I will eat it. I will hurt the man, all right? It is not easily angered. Guys, that was so weird. Guys, are you in a relationship? Because it's not just guys, right? Guys, are you in a relationship with a girl where there's always a problem to talk about? It's okay. Some of you girls are laughing like, no, it's not funny, man. It's not cute. All right? It's one thing to argue in a relationship, right? It happens, like plenty. But it's another thing for your relationship to be characterized by anger, right? That's not a healthy or an honorable relationship. Next slide. Love always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. That's what true love is. There was another one in there I missed, because I know because it registered with me a lot, where it says love does not envy, right? Love does not envy. And I think that's another motive that can drive relationships a lot of time. To not envy in a relationship means that you don't seek to you know that your friends have explored sexually, or they've gone gotten to a certain destination sexually, and so you want to match that. That's envy. Love doesn't envy. Love doesn't compare. The second thing in dating is to envy something is to want something that's not yours, right? Well, just so you know, and by the way, I'm so glad I had someone in my life pumping this stuff into me too when I was a high school student, okay? Because my hormones would have said something else. But when you date someone, that person's not yours. If you want it, put a ring on it, right? You don't own that person. They're not yours. And so a person who doesn't envy treats someone with such respect and honor, knowing that that person does not belong to them and might end up, in all likeliness, statistically, will probably end up belonging to someone else. And so it changes your course of action. But this is what love looks like. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Now listen, in your mind, you might be thinking, but this isn't real. This is like dreamy. That is unrealistic. Let me tell you something real quick. The reason that kind of love that always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres, love that doesn't envy, right? Love that is kind, love that is patient, love that doesn't boast. The reason that seems so unrealistic is because we are given some of the cheapest imitations of love. We are given the crappiest versions of love. And so that's all we expect. It's like eating poop every day, and I tell you about a Hershey chocolate bar, and you're like, that's not real. No, you're just so used to poop. The imitations of love are garbage. Yeah, if we want to know what love is, I know you might think this is corny. The Bible says this is love. Love is that Jesus, the Son of God, came to earth, and he didn't come for bae. He didn't come to date. He didn't come because he's like, it's cuffing season. I thought that was funny. He came to die, right, so that we would gain. He rose so that we could live. His whole life was for not him. His whole mission was to save us. Like, that was love. It was selfless. It was one of patience. It was one of humility. It was one of honor. And the more that we look at the love of Jesus, the more we can take the love of Jesus and apply it to all relationships today, including our dating ones. It goes to all relationships. Let me just ask you this. Final thought here. How cool would it be if you knew right now that your future spouse was looking at this list in 1 Corinthians chapter 13? Right now, like, you could see your future spouse. Somebody would be like, I have one. Chances are yes, probably, right? No promises. But, all right, no, yeah, you probably do. You probably do. And right now, what if you could see them right now, no matter what state they're in or school district, and you could see right now, you could be guaranteed that your future spouse is looking at the list of 1 Corinthians 13, and they're saying, you know what, rather than focusing on looking to be with someone, I'm going to focus on looking to become someone. I want to be a person of the list. Not the list of what I want from other people. I want to be a person of the list of who I want to be myself, of the person I want to offer for someone else one day. I want to be this person, not just be with a person, right? What if you could know that? That would be sick, right? Wouldn't that motivate you? Some of the guys are like, as long as she's hot. No, idiots. Right? Listen, some of the hottest people in the world have broken up. Most of the hottest people in the world. Like, I still can't figure out how Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck dumped each other. I don't get it. Those beautiful people, right? It didn't work. It didn't work. You know why? Because that's not, beauty is fleeting, man. Characteristics, virtues, that's what lasts. So what if we flip our list tonight? What if we went from having a list of what we want in other people? You know, you're walking around Shen, you're walking around Boston Spa, you're walking around your kitchen because you're homeschooled and looking at your dog. You're like, you're not on my list, you know. But you're walking around and you got your list. But what if we flipped the list tonight? What if the list went from what I want in someone else to the person I want to become myself? What if we flipped the list? Here's what's going to happen if you do that. If you focus on looking to become someone rather than just looking to be with someone, you know what's going to happen? You're going to be drawn towards people who are also looking to become someone. You know that? You're going to be drawn towards people who are also looking to become someone, and everyone else is going to fall off your radar. Focus on looking to become someone. And you never know, God might just use it to lead you to be with someone. Let's pray. God, thank you that you care about dating. Thank you that you care about the nitty-gritty, about our real life, about things that consume our heart. God, I pray, Lord, that for some of us, the few and the brave, that you would give us the courage to focus on becoming someone, not just merely looking to be with someone. Lord, some of us feel buried in emotion, buried in loneliness, and craving for attention. God, I ask that we would find our fulfillment in you, and that we would be the person that you called us to be, not just settle for finding someone else. It's in your name that we pray. Amen.